This is me, fighting a losing battle against a fish. But not just any fish. That was Yellowtail Kingfish, my nemesis fish. But today, it's time to change that. Speeding off out into the blue, we're greeted with clean water and big fish. This reef has claimed the lives of many ships. But in these ruins, life has taken control, becoming home to thousands of tasty fish. And in this video, we're going to be exploring these shipwrecks in search for a meal.
Okay, I need to get one.
And maybe this time, I can break that curse of the Yellowtail Kingfish. Come along for the adventure. It's going to be a good one. Arriving at the launch site, I was keen to get in the water, but the sand had other ideas.
Paul's trying to get himself out of there. Sticky situation. I'm holding the boat.
So while Phil, the captain, and his son Matt are trying to get themselves out of the sand, let's talk about nemesis fish. Everybody has them, and mine is the yellowtail. If you say you don't, you just haven't met that fish yet. And no matter what, it'll be a battle to break this curse. You will miss fish at point blank, and these fish will make a mockery of you.
Epic. There he goes.
And with that out of the way,
Let's get in the water.
the sea was flat, the wind was calm, and the day was looking splendid. This is not a common sight here in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. And for Matt's second time off a boat, he was being treated to a good day.
See what it's like down there?
Right off the bat, I decided to prioritize Matt getting a good fish.
I won't go to the cave. I'll let Matt dive on that. I'll swim this way.
And my plan was to break this curse. But first, a few warm-up dives with some beautiful fish life in some blue water. I love doing the swim along the bottom, where a lot of people go down and sit and wait for fish to come. When I'm exploring a new reef, I move at the bottom, because you never know what you might find. And in this dive, I spotted a big galjoen, the national fish of South Africa. But at this point, the season was closed and there were no take at this time.
Okay, I think we should move.
Moving on to the shipwrecks of Thunderbolt Reef.
Okay, I'm gonna hop in. The water doesn't look too bad. It's definitely worse.
Conditions had changed. The water had become murkier and warmer, perfect for finding some pelagic fish. Here I am, diving on the Capodistria shipwreck, a massive spread out shipwreck, full of fish life. Just listen to these fish. Every one of those clicks is a fish feeding on the reef. And as I get closer and closer to the bulk of the shipwreck, it just gets louder and louder. And these fish are brazen, coming right up to my face without fear. This made me feel that maybe the predators, like a yellowtail, weren't around. But my focus was still in the midwater, where I'd been told the yellowtail come in from. Ignoring the reef fish at the bottom, I look toward the skies, hoping that that shining tail would come my way. On this dive, a nice copper steenbras swam my way, But I tend not to take these fish. For one reason, that they're not very abundant, but also because that fish was a baby. These fish attain over 50 kgs and probably up to 4 times the size of that specimen. Incredibly large. They are the biggest of the bream and lovely to look at. Another reason I didn't take that fish was because I was focused on something in the background. If you look closely on this dive, you'll see a pale orange fish just sitting on the edge of vision. This is a Scotsman, and it is not a common fish in our water. And here, I was hoping to get a shot on a big one. And as I waited and waited, the chance on a big one never came, and I only saw these juveniles. But I'm not complaining, because they're such a good sign to see on a reef. But nothing would compare to what I saw on the next dive. If you remember me saying earlier that the galleon season was closed, well, this might just be why. Here is a school of at least 100 galleon, possibly spawning. What a sight to see. Listen people, this is the national fish of South Africa, and its population is 20% of the pristine level. Should we be taking this fish during the closed season? Absolutely not. It is there for a reason, and that is why I didn't take one, even though there were some fine specimens in that school. The breeding season is there for a reason, and why do you think these fish were gathered together? But I wouldn't lie in saying I didn't want to take one, but I showed self-restraint until I saw a nice bronze bream. And this fish I almost took, because at this point it had been a couple hours, I hadn't had a fish in the boat, and I was getting the itch to get a fish. So as I return back to the surface, it's time to change that. Our next stop was Patty Reef, a shipwreck at the pinnacle of Thunderbolt Reef. It sits in 5 meters of water. No wonder it's a shipwreck. And most of the time you can see the engine block of the wreck. Below the surface is an incredible piece of reef. Taking a few breaths, I descended. Despite the shipwreck facing the forefront of the ocean's forces, it remains remarkably unscathed, with the entire hull of the shipwreck preserved inside. Here it was full of galleon that scattered at the side of me. Following their lead, I went inside the wreck, but only a little bit, so that I could conceal my body and look out to see if anything was approaching. Along the edge of vision, a few punsies swam towards me, but they were not the target today. You know what I was looking for. My focus was on one thing and one thing only, and the engine block was exactly the place I needed to be. But I wasn't in exactly the right place. Matt was there first, As I got to the surface, I heard him shouting my name. I rushed towards him to see what was going on.
Nice, dude.
There he had it. His first yellowtail. And a good one at that. Securing the fish, I looked up to see Phil with one too.
Hi. Okay, I need to get one. Shit. Where do you find that? There. Right here. Yeah.
Luck was on my side, and as I took a dive, a tail approached. I took aim and missed. The curse continues, and I could not believe what had just happened.
This tail, yeah. First one.
While having a pep talk from Phil, Matt
Another tail.
got another
Let's
tail.
go.
His second time off the boat, he was showing me up.
Nice, dude. Well done.
I congratulated him
Good fish.
with a bit of salt in my mouth. How long would this taste persist? How long would the yellowtail kingfish avoid me? The afternoon was turning to evening, and my time was running out. I needed to get a move on. This dive might just be my last chance of the yellowtail season. The ocean became quiet. Those brave Frenchies were no longer brave. The air tasted different down here. My instinct told me that something was going to happen. And for once, my instinct for yellowtail kingfish was right, and I was surrounded by a school of big ones, flustered by their numbers. I turned and shot. The fight was on.
Big tail. This big tail. This small, big school.
As I told Phil to go get himself one, the fight was on. And I'd always heard and always been told how strong these fish are. I've watched hundreds, if not thousands, of videos of guys shooting these fish. But I never knew just how strong these guys could be. Finally, the curse was lifted, and I had my yellowtail kingfish. Putting it to sleep and bleeding it, I I headed back to the boat, Kingfish in hand.
Nice one.
How are you gonna do that? I'm gonna catch these babies.
Yes, like I said, they were big ones. Huge school cat through, big guys.
Oh my days.
Even bigger than that. Full. Your dad almost shot the same fish. We both dove on the same thing. Oh, waited a long moment for that to happen. Nice big yellowtail. School of them just swam right underneath me. Managed to get a shot in somehow. Something I've never done before. Landed the fish.
At this point, my day was done. I've achieved my goal. So I decided to just hop out and admire my catch.
That's a nice fish. Beautiful.
While this was going on, Phil managed to shoot himself a big one too.
Good one. Nice, Phil. Good fish.
And with the club record up for grab, we were in competition now.
Looks like a nice fish. Oh, hey. Proper fish. Yes, look at that shot. Hey. Okay, yeah. I'm about to say straight to the brain. That's a good fish. Solid, eh? Yeah. Very nice.
Whose fish do you think was bigger? At the end, we're gonna weigh it in and find out. And probably most impressive of the day was Matt, who managed to nail 2 decent yellowtails on his second day diving off a boat.
That's your first tail. Black.
Well done, Matt.
Not often like this.
The end of the day was much like the start, calm and beautiful. And as we headed back to the launch site, the vibes were immaculate. And the tension of who got the biggest fish and had a hold on the record was high. This was a pleasant sight. A bag full of yellowtail. And as we brought it to the weigh-in, we were joined by Weighmaster Tennis from Norton.
Good job, man. So is this your one? Yeah, got one shot. So you want? I only need a one shot. I have no idea. Could be. It's not too big. I think it'll be like 12 kg. Hey, I was pretty close, eh? 12.
My fish ended up weighing 12.2 kgs. And I was so proud of this fish.
Camera. First decent yellowtail.
And as Phil weighed his fish, I waited in anticipation. 12.07 kgs. My fish had just snuck in bigger, and I was as stoked as I could be. But in the end, it's basically the same fish. So well done, Phil. Thanks for taking me out.
Really thought you were gonna take that, Phil. That's insane.
And last, but surely not least, was Matt's fish. His first
That's not bad.
yellowtail
4 kilos is a
ever,
nice fish. Let's go.
weighing 4.2
4
kg.
kilos.
Decent
Sick,
fish,
dude.
man.
Well
Well done. And for us, this was the first. A bag
We've never had to
full of
do
tail.
this. You see this? We've never had to struggle this much.
As always, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you want, and share this with your friends. My name is Tok, and I hope you enjoyed this just as much as I did.